What's going on, Bauds? This is Baud Fawk Sports. I'm your host, Taryn, and I'm back with my co-host, Justin.
Yo, what's going on, everyone?
And today we got a lot to talk about. Um, I think probably the biggest thing to talk about, Justin, as you know, is the Lakers and Pistons uh, fight thing. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. It was kind of hectic. Isaiah Stewart was bleeding and chasing and throwing down people. So I mean, I wanted to get your thoughts on the suspensions, like LeBron with a one game and Isaiah Stewart with two. So what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit harsh on Isaiah Stewart because at the end of the day, he did get punched in the face and he did, or whatever you want to call it, and he did bleed. So like the NBA is essentially suspending him for running at, I guess, LeBron. So he's getting suspended more for threatening to do something than LeBron, who actually did do something. I feel like they both should have got a 1 game suspension, or even LeBron just gets suspended and Stewart get fined. Because at the end of the day, like the blood was drawn. It's not like he hit him lightly. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was fair on Stewart. I'm the biggest LeBron guy, but I think it should have been 1-1 if they were both going to get suspended personally.
Yeah, see, like I was thinking kind of along the same lines at first until I saw like I really saw it again and I saw him, charge at him like a second time after they had been separated. And so like they're on opposite ends of the court and he starts charging again. He's throwing down a bunch of people. It's just a really bad look for the NBA.
Yeah.
So I completely understand the 2 game suspension. Now LeBron with a 1 game, because I think like his elbow was intentional, but just not intentional to hit him in the face. You
Yeah.
know, they're trying to get space, they're trying to go in for the rebound. And so it seemed like LeBron was just frustrated with the game and probably I like frustrated with Isaiah Stewart because he was just being annoying. So yeah, like it wasn't an intentional like hit to the face, and you could see that like he went right over and tried to apologize, but you can't do that. So I think a 1 game suspension for LeBron is fine, and I think a 2 game for Isaiah Stewart is also fine, but like I'd honestly I might even argue to make it even more because that's just a very bad look for the NBA. You don't want your players, like looking like they're trying to kill the face of the league. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, like definitely a good point there. He did kind of look a bit crazy at times when he was running and trampling through people. But see, might have that old school mentality when I'm saying this, but I feel like, yeah, like just I love to see stuff like that in the way where I think it shows like, a good competitive nature. Now, seeing a player run with blood in his eyes and run and charge at LeBron, yeah, you're right, might not be the best look. But I do think maybe it is a bit harsh that he got two. Because I think should have been even because I don't think it was that big of a deal. But I definitely get from like a PR standpoint, like you said, the NBA doesn't want someone running at and trying to kill the face of the NBA. So that's definitely not a good look. I'm more surprised that LeBron even got suspended. If I'm being honest, I didn't think he was gonna get suspended. I was just gonna get fined. So that is for me is the biggest surprise. I didn't think in a million years that would happen.
Yeah, I didn't think LeBron would get suspended either. That was quite surprising, but I think like the 1 game suspension is deserved. I didn't expect the NBA to actually do that
Yeah.
to LeBron, but I'm happy they did, and I think yeah, like I just think overall like I'm looking at this from the league's point of view, not really from like my point of view. Like my point of view is like I like this stuff, I want to see the passion, I want to see like the drive, and even if we've seen crazy moments in the past like Kobe and Michael Jordan and just doing some crazy stuff, just headbutting people, like um, and even Detroit, they have their own history
Yeah.
of crazy stuff. That was with the fans, but the league is just not going to tolerate that kind of stuff, even if we think like we want more of it. I completely understand from their point of view suspending him for 2 games because you just can't do that.
Yeah, it's such a sticky situation that I never thought like LeBron would get in. I would always imagine, maybe someone would hit LeBron and then they would get to like find more. Because I think if we just put the players aside, it's just crazy to me that like the dude, yes, granted he did run at LeBron and tremble people, but the dude who got elbowed in the face and was bleeding got punished more than the guy who did it. So I mean, obviously there's more to it than that. So I was just really surprised that his punishment was worse. However, you know, it is LeBron. I just knew they were going to protect him. So yeah, like I said, I'm more surprised that he actually did get suspended than Stewart getting 2 games.
Yeah. So if we wanna just transition that into the Lakers as a whole, we saw it last night. It was honestly a really great game. Went to OT. Great game to watch. Like if you're rooting for the Lakers, you are kind of like disappointed that it even has to go to OT. But Chris Duarte with like an insane shot. I was scared that they were going to call a foul and he was going to go to the free throw line and ice the game. With the Lakers being up with so much time, I thought it had been sealed. But yeah, it went to overtime. LeBron was immaculate. He was like he was LeBron, like he was hitting those huge shots, some nice fadeaways, those threes everyone saw, the celebration.
Yeah.
So yeah, LeBron is inevitable.
I mean, I'm happy he's back. You know, I think he had 39 points. He kind of went off in that game. Yeah, like you said, those 3 pointers are so clutch. And yeah, I love seeing LeBron play with this team. And I know we've talked about this in the past that, you know, I feel like once he gets back into the team, then everyone will get better. Now, granted, this was an overtime win against the Pacers, and that really should have been a much easier W, I feel like. But, you know, at the end of the day, the Pacers held their own. And yeah, like you said, that Duarte 3 pointer was ridiculous. And I saw it back and I was like, damn, he might have got fouled, but I don't think he did. But you're right. Like there was a scare. He could have went to the line and iced it. So thankfully the Lakers took advantage of that and just went off in overtime.
Yeah. I did want to say like Anthony Davis was out with an illness. And the Lakers almost looked better.
Yeah.
A lot of the role players played better, and there just seemed to be more energy. Because I find with Anthony Davis a lot of the time, like he looks like he just lacks energy on the court. Like he has to be something has to make him give all that effort. A lot of time he's just kind of like coasting.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like yeah, you're right. Like when it's not running straight through AD, that's when someone like LeBron can, you know, really incorporate the other role players and set them up and get the nice passes. Because, you know, everyone knows LeBron. He's gonna do his drive and do his nice no look passes or his flashy in between the legs passes and all that stuff to get his teammates wide open for some good looks. So yeah, I think once LeBron could be that floor general, then like it'll just be better. And I think we've seen in the past when LeBron does it, it works, you know, work during the championship run. But when it's more of just centered around maybe him and A Disney as like, you know, a 2-for-1, it's not as effective. So I definitely do hear what you're saying with that.
Yeah, I mean, when Anthony Davis is giving his 100% effort, obviously I think the Lakers are better with Anthony Davis. I'm not trying to say that they're not. I think that's a bad take, but I did think they just had a lot more energy and they seemed like passionate and they were like fighting for the win. Whereas a lot of times I see Anthony Davis just kind of like walking around, looks uninterested with the game. And that's why we've seen a lot this year. And some people have gotten on Russ for it, but Russ is always like calling out Anthony Davis and trying to motivate him. And Anthony Davis does the same for Russ too, right? That's just good teammates. But Russ, we've seen a lot this year, like talking about Anthony Davis and getting him going because um, he's the guy that we know what LeBron is going to give you, and Russ is clearly not in his prime anymore, but he's still going to give you those Russ numbers. It's just Anthony Davis is that guy, like that's like he could have this really amazing night where he's giving all this energy, and he could win you the game single handedly. But there are nights where he just looks turned off. So, and I think he deserves a lot of blame for this Lakers defense right now because he's supposed to be a defensive juggernaut. He's supposed to bring the team together defensively. So him and Frank Vogel, as Frank Vogel is considered a defensive coach, and Anthony Davis is considered one of the defensive player of the year candidates almost every year. The
Yeah.
fact that this team is bad defensively, I think we're ranked in like maybe 28th in the league or something. It's bad. Like we're at the bottom of the league for like a defensive efficiency. So I don't know. I expect the defense to be better, but I'm not sure exactly who to blame, if that's on the coaching staff or if that's on the players.
Yeah, and I think, on that note, I'm not gonna really say it's the coaching staff or stuff like that because at the end of the day, coaches can't teach effort. So no matter what the coaches say in the locker room or at halftime or on TV timeouts, if the players aren't going to give their effort, then like it's nothing that coach could do to make you give the effort. So I feel like there have been times where not just AD. So I need to stop calling him A Disney on the show. It's not professional at all. But there have been times where AD hasn't looked motivated or put in the effort, and I think that goes with everyone on the team. So I'm happy LeBron's back because I feel like that won't happen. I feel like ever again, especially with LeBron being out there. We've seen in the past how hard LeBron is on teammates. So I think having LeBron back, the idea of maybe effort not being given by the Lakers, I hope is gone, because if that's still happening with LeBron being there, then maybe there has to be a trade or something like that, because this can't keep happening.
Yeah, and so we know every night Russ is going to give it his all, right? Even if even if that might not be going well, or he might be struggling, he's still going to give his 100%. I just need to see that from Anthony Davis. You
Yeah.
know, I know you got your ring, but we're trying to win another one. So let's not take games off. Let's put in the effort, because the record is abysmal. I think it's what, 10-10 now.
Yeah. This is
Like,
not good.
this is not the time to be not giving energy. So I definitely need to see more from Anthony Davis. If this Lakers team is going to do anything, Anthony Davis needs to be basically the best player on the team. He needs to be a top tier center, a great defender, dropping high points. Maybe just under 30. I want to see almost 10 rebounds. A couple assists, and give us some blocks. Give some energy. So I think the defensive woes for the Lakers definitely, you have to take a look at Anthony Davis.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And one person I want to point out now, I'm not saying he's some amazing defensive guard. I think Avery Bradley, he was known at one point for being a good two-way player kind of thing. He's a good defender. I think he needs to step up as well. I think I know I've talked about this player in the past before as maybe biased, but Danny Green was a good defender for the Lakers. Might not have been the best scorer, but he did provide defense. So getting rid of someone like Danny Green too, who was a good defender, Lakers definitely need to step up in that department. And I feel like, Frank Vogel could either take responsibility and be like, what, this is on me. I need to prepare us better. Or the players have to come forward and just say, like, we're not doing well. I know AD has been saying that a lot recently, saying we suck after games. It's like, might not be what you want to hear, but at the end of the day, I could appreciate and I could respect him taking ownership for his actions in that situation.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think they're transparent, but like that's great. But like, let's fix it. Let's just stop saying like, "Oh, we suck," and
Yeah.
start like thinking of ways that we can get better. You know,
Yeah, no, for real.
so uh, like you said, Avery Bradley, like his defensive game isn't what it used to be, and like you said, like Danny Green, right? He was a way better defender, and as a scorer, he was inconsistent. But I mean, what is Avery Bradley? Like
Yeah.
he's definitely not consistent. So uh, I'm not saying bring Danny Green back. I know he's making a lot of money now, but
Yeah.
they need that kind of guy, because Taylor Horton Tucker. I mean, I think he's shooting like 35% from three this season, but he's not the guy I want starting along with those players. I'd rather Malik Monk, and if Avery Bradley can't start shooting well, then like the defense is decent, but it's not what it used to be. So he's just kind of like average at everything.
Yeah. And if you want to win a championship, you can't be average. You got to like step up and be good. So, I mean, it'll be a long road, I think, to the championship. We season's only 20 games in for the Lakers. There's still 62 more games to go. But yeah, like I think has to, I need to see a turning point sooner rather than later, because like we both said, this can't go on to the All-Star break. And even if it does, you still got the second half. But like I would like to see us get, at least 5 games above 500 soon, 10-10. I think yeah, if we keep riding out like this, we're gonna finish 41-41. So no one would want that. So I need to see a good run of form. And the schedule, I know we talked about the schedule before, has had some, easy games that they have lost. So I think they really got to make the most out of their schedule, I feel like, when they play the lesser teams.
Yeah, like having to come back uh, from that game against Detroit. They were down by like 16 or so. I don't even remember, but they were down by a lot. Like you shouldn't be down that much to Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, Detroit suck. So
Yeah.
like yeah, like glad they came back and won, and Russ was phenomenal that game, but shouldn't even need that kind of performance to beat Detroit really.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I completely agree. Like to me, just like the Timberwolves that we've talked about, there should be no excuse to losing to Detroit. And I know, granted, they did win, but like, I feel like against teams like Detroit and even Minnesota, and we'll get to them later, but Houston, like if you play those teams, you got to destroy them. Like that should be practice. It should be like, okay, let's work on some things, not like close game down to the wire, LeBron getting injected. Like, what is this? Like it's not 2K. Like this, you should just win. So I definitely need to see more. Last night's game was pretty good. So it's right track, but I need to see more from this team before I can be hooked at their championship level team.
well, even last night, I think they were down 16 to the Pacers at
Yeah.
one point. They were down 12 a couple times, and every time they brought it within like six, then the Pacers would just go on a run. And it's like, you guys are supposed to be good defensively. Like stop this. So
Yeah. It's like
um, I just see a lot of teams attacking Melo. He's always been a defensive liability, and even the good defenders on the team are still just getting rinsed. So uh, Kent Bazemore hasn't really been playing because he was supposed to be another like good defender, a good role player, and he's been a joke all season. So I need to see more from them defensively. Because offensively, like I think they'll work it out for sure, but it's the defense that I'm more worried about. But yeah, like you said, like good game against the Pacers, still not the best, and it took like a LeBron insane performance. But you know, we move. We'll see. We'll see how the Lakers continue on from here. Hopefully, this is a sign for more. But every time we think it is, they go and lose to like Minnesota or something.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Not the best.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, speaking of not being the best, I think we should now segue to the next segment. We got Ben Simmons and maybe his wallet. Don't know if you guys
Great
heard.
transition.
Yeah, but Ben Simmons is apparently going broke. Apparently, he can't handle his money and he's buying cars worth 500 grand every month. And he's not going to practice and he's still getting fined. So I really don't know what he's doing. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't know what to do with all the money he makes. But like on the flip side, I just did not expect this to happen. I feel like the Ben Simmons saga just gets even better every time he gets brought up.
Yeah, like I don't understand, man. Like, at what point do you just go back and play? Like,
Yeah, no.
this guy's going broke because he's not mentally prepared to play. Dude, I don't know what you're on, but you're you're missing out on some crazy money because
Yeah.
of what? Like the team could actually use him right now with Joel Embiid out. Maybe this would be a perfect time for him to come back, reintegrate himself.
Yeah, and this could
Yeah,
build his trade stock. Like you never know.
yeah,
If he shines, someone might be knocking on the door and saying, "Yo, what do you want for Ben Simmons? Let's make it happen." So yeah, like you said, I really don't know what's going on. Haven't really been following Ben Simmons too in depthly because it's been
there's nothing to follow.
chaos. Yeah, like there's not really any updates, and when there is an update, it's he's now going broke. So not exactly what I expected to hear about Ben Simmons. I don't wish this upon anyone. Like, I might not like Ben Simmons, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't want anyone to go broke and have mental health issues. So I really hope in that aspect he gets that turned around. But like at this point, I just want to see him play basketball. I just want to see him back on the court. And I don't even like him like that. But like, he's not a Kardashian. It's like this, like he should be Ben Simmons, the basketball player, not Ben Simmons, the drama queen. So I'm disappointed in that aspect, but I hope he turns it around so like he can get back on the court, obviously.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right now, it seems like he kind of has to, if he's going broke. So, what choice do you really have? Got to go back and play, I guess. So, yeah, yeah, like you said, he's been buying a bunch of cars. Definitely can't take care of his money. He bought like a super expensive like farmhouse or something. It's like over $5 million. Like, dude, uh, what are you doing? Like, this is the worst time to be doing all this stuff. Like, I don't think he could have picked a worse time. Like, you're getting fined and you're not making any money. So let me go and make a bunch of big purchases.
Yeah, no. I like, hey man, I'm not saying, oh, if you give me his money, I would know what to do. But on the flip side, like, come on, like, I feel like, and Shaq has talked about this in the past. I feel like the worst thing an NBA athlete, well, any athlete really in general could do is not have like an agent or someone like this. Cause I remember Shaq mentioned, he goes, yeah, my first check, I bought three like Mercedes Benz or something like that, one for him and one for each of his parents. And then he got a guy saying, look, you can't be doing stuff like that. And now
Yeah, he blew
Shaq
his
is
whole
worth,
check.
yeah, now he's worth so much money. So it's like Ben Simmons is a young player. He kind of had a lot of hype around him. But I feel like this is just irresponsible. That's what I'm going to use. It's not like he needed to do any of this. If he plays basketball, he only needs really one nice house. Can't has three houses, buying cars every month. And it's like, I don't know his family situation, obviously, but like I just wish that there was someone to guide him through this. Again, I don't know his family situation at all, but like, come on, man. Like you're telling me there isn't someone, like, does he have an agent that cares about him like this? Like, I don't really know the story there. So yeah, I hate to see stuff like that. And I hope that aspect he could turn around so we could get back on the court. Cause like that's just you don't like to see stuff like that. It might be amusing at face value, but like at the end of the day, like I don't want to see someone legit go broke and stuff like that happen. So
I mean, it is quite amusing, but at the end of the day, he'll never go broke because, if you really needed it and really didn't want to just go back to playing basketball, just sell all that crap. But um, yeah, like I don't wish that on someone, but it is quite funny. And I'm not sure exactly what his mental health issues are. I can't really speak on that, but the only way you're going to get traded is if you play. No one wants to get someone who's not even playing basketball. So if you want to raise your draft stock and actually get out of Philly, you got to play some games first and show us what you can do. So at the end of the day, he has a big part to play in the reason he's still there.
yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's like kind of like the effort that we talked about with AD. He hasn't made an effort to be better for himself. And it's like, I know people might say this, but like I wish I was 6'10" with that athletic ability, that God-given ability, because he's just wasting a talent at this point. Because it was just 5 years ago almost, or maybe even less than that, when Ben Simmons was touted as like, yo, he's a generational player. Like he has it all. He just needs to develop a jump shot. And now 4 years later, he's peaked in his rookie year and is apparently going broke and doesn't have a place on an NBA team right now. So it's like I hate to see the fall from grace, and you've known from the start I'm not even a big Ben Simmons fan like that, like at all. But like it just kind of like annoying to see that Philadelphia, a franchise with hopes, believes his whole trust the process. Like they went from having a legit contender and contending team to now like the focus isn't even basketball. It's what's Ben Simmons going to do next. So I think it's very irresponsible of his part. It's very selfish as well because he has to consider, his teammates, his family, himself even. So it's like I don't really know what really to make of this whole debacle. So I just hope it gets resolved so I could see Ben Simmons play basketball again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I want to see. I want to see him back on an NBA team, and there is a place for him in Philly. They're in need of someone to take charge right now. So, that Joel Embiid loss is big. So this is literally the perfect time to come back. Like you got to do it right now. So it would have been nice if maybe he would have just done it before this news came out, so it didn't have to seem like, oh, he's just returning for money.
Yeah.
But that's basically what it is now. It is any time that he comes back, it's just gonna be like, oh, he got so broke that he had to return for money.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like, oh, he's passionate about the game.
Yeah. And I know we talked a few episodes ago about like him on Boston. Like that could be a cool idea, but like what's gonna happen next week? Is he come out and is he gonna say, yeah, he's just gonna retire? Is he gonna say he's gonna take his talents to the Australian League? Like, I don't know what to expect from this guy anymore. And 2 weeks
Gonna
ago, I
go
did,
back to LSU.
yeah, like for real, like 2 weeks ago, I did say, yeah, no, I would definitely trade him, if I'm Boston. But now it's like, hell no, like I wouldn't do that right now in this current. So now that this is unfolding too, so I feel like he needs. Honestly, I could see him not playing basketball again for the rest of the year. I feel like that could even be better. He could focus on himself, focus on getting his mind right, maybe working out with trainers, getting back in the gym. And I think that yeah, the Ben Simmons saga, I don't think is far from over. Like I think there's still quite a bit of ways to go. But I hope that he could get back on the right track as a basketball fan.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move on from Ben Simmons and his depressing story, and we could talk about Raptors getting a nice win in Memphis. You want to
Yes,
speak about that?
yeah. And speaking about getting back on track, the Raptors had a slow start against Memphis. John Moran and Jaren Jackson, all those guys. They're starting to outplay us. But I don't know if you saw, but at the halftime buzzer, from half court was Scotty Barnes, aka the future greatest player of all time, connecting from half, and that really gave us the momentum. In the second half, we outscored them 67-42. So, a solid performance from us from the second half. We're back in the wins column. Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and Achua all had 17 points. Barnes had 9 rebounds. And Gary Trent Jr., who I've been, loving for the past couple of years now, he finished at 26, which led the team. And so he's been in great form recently too. So I think this was a much needed win for the Raptors. And, not taking anything away from the Grizzlies, but I feel like we just wanted it more in the second half.
Yeah, and we were literally just talking about Gary Trent Jr. How he's doing great defensively, but we want to see him go back to being that very big offensive player that he was in the past,
Yeah.
because they clearly need it. So yeah, great win. Like you said, like the second half was just clearly all just Raptors.
Yeah.
They wanted it more. Memphis are kind of an up and down team. So are the Raptors. So
Yeah.
fair enough. But yeah, Scotty Barnes is that guy. He is
I
that
know.
guy, man.
Yeah. We've
He's
been saying that since day one of this episode or the show. Sorry. He is that guy. So,
yeah, he's gonna be like a future. I don't want to say Hall of Famer just yet, but future All Star, at least for Toronto, if he keeps up this kind of stuff.
yeah, and he's so likable. Like if you don't like Scotty Barnes, then like are you really a basketball fan? Like I don't know. He's just such a likable
Okay,
person.
you don't like Human Son for soccer, so I mean,
Okay. Let's be honest here. Scotty Barnes is better at soccer than Son is at soccer, but it's a different debate. But yeah, no, I think Barnes hitting it from half court, did a little walk off the court. It was like, oh, okay, we're back in this. And yeah, he just looks so good. And he just looks like an NBA player. Like he looks like he's been in the game for 10 years and he's just a rookie. So I think he has the whole world at his feet. And like I'm really excited to see what he becomes.
yeah, there's a good amount of rookies this year that have come into the league and they look like they just know what they're doing already. You
Yeah.
see a lot of draft classes where a lot of players come in and they just look kind of clueless, or like it's too physical for them, it's too hard for them. And there's just quite a lot of guys this draft class that they're coming in and they're looking better than a lot of veterans out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, Scotty Barnes, he's that guy.
Yeah, and I know we mentioned before how some of the veterans look kind of slow first start of the season. So because of that, the rookie spotlight has been there. Even guys like Evan Mobley, Chris Duarte, we talked about earlier. Cade Cunningham has looked a bit better in recent games. Even Josh Giddey. Got to give a shout out to Josh Giddey.
Yeah.
I like how the rookies, yeah, like you said, they've really stepped up, and I'm really liking the whole class. But of course, for me, Barnes just stands out. He's a phenomenal player, and I really hope he wins Rookie of the Year. Like I think he could keep it up. And the positive note, this was the first game where both Barnes and Siakam feel like looked really good playing together. Like I mentioned, both had 17 points. Barnes had 9 boards, Siakam had 7, and Barnes had 3 assists, and Siakam had 2. So pretty similar stat lines, to say the least. And we got the win. So I feel like that's for me is a really big positive.
Yeah, hopefully they can keep it up. I'm not really sure because we've seen it look bad in the past, right? This
Yeah.
could have been just like an anomaly, but hopefully they can keep it up. I do like the Raptors this season. They look like they have a squad there. They just gotta fix a couple things, and they'll be right back into the playoff conversation. But I Memphis are a good team, so that is a good win. Do want to see the Raptors maybe how they're going to compete against some of the bigger teams in the East. Because that's probably their biggest challenge. We'll see how they can perform against them, especially as like a preview for the playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure. One person I want to touch upon, Fred VanVleet had 23 points with 6 boards and 7 assists. Is it too early to say that he is the MVP? No, I'm kidding, but yeah, Fred VanVleet though. I think yeah, he
Over
looked pretty
Scotty
good.
Barnes.
Whoa, you're
I don't know
spitting,
about
but
that. Yeah.
yeah, I've been really happy with Van Vliet. I feel like a lot of people are kind of questioning him in the off season, see how he would do. But I think he's had an amazing start to the season so far after 20 odd games or so. So yeah, do you think he can make the All Star team this year?
Yeah, he definitely could. It's just the East looks really good, right? So
Yeah,
there's not a lot of spots right now. Um, there's a lot of big performers in the East, and it's going to be tough. But I think he definitely could. He just might have to get that record up a little bit. Get some averages higher. I think you said you got 7 assists, right?
yeah.
Keep the assists around 6 or 7, and over 20 points, and I'm sure he'll get in.
Yeah, and despite being like a little guy, he does get rebounds. Like, he did have 6 last game. Like that's pretty good. You don't expect Van Vliet to do that. So yeah, he's a very good player. And I think he's really elevated the team defensively. I know we mentioned Trent, who now is looking like one of the better defenders on the whole team. I feel like Van Vliet's really helped him in that aspect. Barnes has been a great defender coming in. So yeah, I think Fred Van Vliet he's been very good for us. So I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, you started talking about little guy getting rebounds, and it reminded me of that year in the finals where uh, I don't know if you remember. You remember when Steph Curry out rebounded Tristan Thompson
Oh
for like
yeah.
the whole finals?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was one of the funniest things ever, man.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
for
the
real.
guy's seen as like a defensive rebounder, like that's his role, and you got out rebounded by like 6'2" Steph Curry.
Yeah. Hey man. Look at Curry, man. So inspirational.
So inspirational.
Yeah. One person I did want to talk about quickly on the Raptors, Goran Dragic, bro. Haven't really seen much of him. I know we did
Mhm.
acquire him in the sign and trade with Kyle Lowry, with Precious Achua, who has been, starting. He was solid as well. So what do you think the Raptors should do with Dragic?
I think they should trade him, and I think they've been trying, but I don't know who really is in the market for him right now. The fact that he hasn't really got to shown off his skills is also kind of a hindrance on who's going to be really looking for him. And a lot of people have their point guards already. There's an abundance of solid uh, point guards, and he's old and he's making a decent amount of money. So I'm sure they have been shopping him. I just don't really know who wants him right now.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I was thinking the same thing. I think if we were going to trade him, I think it would have been better to do it in the offseason before the season even started, because then it's like you could have had a fresh start. His value definitely would have been higher because, like you said, he hasn't been playing. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I don't even know how much of like a veteran leader he is. Like, I don't really know that much about him. He's never been on like any of my teams. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he's been a bust because he hasn't really been playing, but like, I think maybe Nick Nurse could give him a few shots because it won't hurt. Clearly, we brought him in. Like if we were willing to trade Kyle Lowry for him, then like I would hope he was good. And yeah, I just remember the rumors of like apparently they offered us Tyler Hero and like we said no. So I'm not saying Tyler Hero is like that guy yet, but like if we were willing to take in Dragic, and not Tyler Hero, then I would hope we at least would give him some notable minutes. So I'm hoping maybe the next home stand you get playing in front of the home crowd for a bit.
I don't think that's true that they would have given you Tyler Hero because I think Miami really loved Tyler Hero
Oh,
even
sorry.
last year.
Yeah, my bad. Duncan Robinson. I always get
Duncan
that.
Robinson.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
Duncan
okay.
Robinson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's two white guys who can shoot. Eh? Just but
Yeah, no, my bad.
um
I meant Duncan Robinson.
yeah. Well, I think Duncan Robinson would have definitely been a better pickup because I know he has his moments and he's kind of up and down, but he's a real good shooter. So
Yeah,
he would have been probably a really good role player to have if that's true.
yeah,
I hope not because uh, him and um, him and Dragic just are not on the same level anymore. But
yeah,
I think Dragic does give that veteran leadership presence. He did give it on Miami for the past couple of years. I think maybe he could be exactly what this team needs. Good spark plug off the bench, veteran leadership, some good creating, play him alongside like Siakam or something.
Yeah.
I think that would be great if you're not going to trade him, right? Or even if you're still shopping him, but try him out a bit, give him some real minutes to actually make an impact. Maybe he'll raise his stock.
Yeah, and see, like you said, yeah, that won't hurt because if he raises his stock, maybe someone will want him. We get maybe a younger player, I don't know, or if he doesn't raise his stock, at least he's still there playing, and helping mentality as well. So I definitely want to see more of him, just because, like, in my mind, if we traded Kyle Lowry for you, and I guess it's true as well, like I just feel like you should play because Kyle Lowry was kind of the greatest Raptor of all time. So I feel like, yeah, if he was just there to get added in and we really needed a Chua, then like I guess I'm okay with that. But in essence, it's like, did we really just trade Kyle Lowry for Precious Achua? Like I hope not. Like I hope we got something more out of that deal. But yeah, I really hope. I just want to see more of him, so at least I can know if he's like good or bad or not.
Yeah. Well, speaking on good or bad, mostly bad. The Rockets actually just beat the Bulls, get their second win of the season. So, and the Bulls are one of the top teams in the East this season. So big win, kind of a crazy comeback. And none of the Rockets really played that amazing. So it was pretty shocking to see, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like last week we talked about the 1-16 Houston Rockets, I guess they would have been. And hey, now they got to win, just their second win of the season. Like you said, not anyone played particularly crazy. I think what really hit home was that third quarter. The Rockets outscored the Bulls 35-18, and I feel like that largely gave them, the win over the hump. But yeah, like I don't know what this says about the Bulls, because the Bulls have been balling out. DeRozan, Levine, and Lonzo Ball specifically. That's been a really good trio. And yeah, like Vucevic has been solid too. But like, is this just like a Houston Rockets team? Are we gonna see them finish off with 10 total wins, or like where do they go from here? Like I like.
I don't know, because we're definitely not going to get a performance like that out of them very often.
Yeah.
How many players here? One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9 players got over 10 points in
Yeah,
that game.
that's like very, very impressive. And the one person who
That's
didn't had 8. So like he was
yeah,
close as well. So that's like a really good team performance. I don't think anyone would ever be mad about that. And if you didn't show someone their record, you think, damn, it's a very nice team. And then you see that they're 2-16. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, like no one in particular played really good, but it was just kind of like all shared around. Uh, no one played really bad. I'd probably say, probably the two biggest players on the team, like Christian Wood didn't have the best game, and then Jalen Green was like he was efficient, but he dropped 11, 2, and 1.
yeah.
Like those are supposed to be like the Rockets like big up and coming guys, and they were just kind of like eh.
Yeah. I
So
I think the reason why they won was DJ Augustine. He woke up feeling dangerous. 15 minutes, or didn't get that much minutes, is 0 points. And he had 4 rebounds and 2 assists. So he really did his part. But
0% from the field.
he's just, oh my God, man. But yeah, no, like I think every team's allowed to have off nights. And I'm not saying that, the Bulls should just be like, it's one game. But like, to me, and this goes with every team in every sport. Like, if you want to prove that you're a top team, you're serious, and you're a contender, then you can't be losing to like these games, because these games are going to come back and haunt you in the end. What if the Bulls hypothetically missed the playoffs by one game? We're going to look back and say, yo, remember when they lost to the 1-16 Rockets? Like, it could be, telling. So, I definitely think that the Bulls should bounce back from this. And in terms of where do the Rockets go from here, despite their name being like a rocket, it's supposed to go up, I just don't think that's gonna happen. I think in a few weeks' time, we might be saying, "Oh, the Rockets got their third win of the season and are now 3-21." So I'm not. I have zero expectations and zero hopes for this Rockets team, but that was a good win for them though. So I'll give them their credit.
Yeah, I definitely say it's an overperformance, and an underperformance from some of the Bulls. Like DeRozan didn't really have a great game, and Vucevic didn't really have a great game. So, and that they won by 5. And Vucevic and DeRozan are like two of their biggest players. They had off nights, and like what do we say, like eight or nine like Rockets players dropped over 10 points. So that's definitely not going to happen on the regular. Um, so this Rockets team could go down as like one of the worst teams in NBA history. And I don't know, I wouldn't be, too upset with that. Like I'm not really a huge fan of the Rockets. They're 2-16. So the fact that even the Pelicans now have double the amount of wins as the Rockets is like, wow, how bad is the franchise?
Yeah, so I think right now, bro, we like to play this game sometimes on our own. We're gonna go over or under. The magic number is 12. Okay, over or under 12. Will the Rockets get 12 wins this season? Over or under?
I'm gonna go under, like genuinely.
Just for the sake of, I'll take the over. But
okay, I could genuinely see like the Rockets pulling out 10 wins all season.
like I think with our luck, I feel like either you're gonna be right and they'll get like 10 wins or whatever, or the Rockets will generally finish with 13 wins. Like
Yeah,
I think if it was 15, I don't see them winning 15 games, if I'm being honest with you. So I think they're gonna finish with 13. Like my guess is 13 or 14. And that's like not good.
yeah. Might seem kind of weird because I actually have a Houston jersey right there. but, but honestly, like I wasn't a fan of the team even when he was there. Like it's not one of my favorite franchises. There's a few players that I've liked that have played on there. Like I really like going back and watching Hakeem, but not really my time. James Harden is cool, but it's not much. I like Daniel House, but that's about it. Like that franchise just kind of means nothing to
I'm
me.
sorry, man. Can we just take a sip, man? One from Hakeem Olajuwon to Westbrook to James Harden to Daniel House. Oh my god, bro.
Bro, Daniel House is in that conversation. He's sick.
Yeah. Only because we mentioned him last basketball episode. Shout out to Tracy McGrady, one of the best Rocks of all time. No
Yeah,
cap.
facts.
Yeah, I
Yao
gotta get
Ming.
him. Yao Ming as well, bro. Yao Ming. But yeah, I mean, I think the Bulls will bounce back. I think the benchmark is for teams is definitely the Rockets. If you can't beat the Rockets, then something should happen. Like who did the Rockets beat? Do you remember off the top of your head?
No, I don't. Like I could find out right now though.
Because I feel like whoever gave the Rockets their first win of the season, like that should be like a talking point of like,
Okay, to be fair, it was the Thunder. So
oh, okay.
like they're
It's just
also
not a
not.
TikToker starting up my kind. But yeah, like damn, the Russ and Harden derby ended with the Rockets coming out on top. But the Rockets next game is actually and then let me see it here. I wonder who they do play next. I thought I had it up,
It's
but
the
we just
Hornets.
said the Bulls. Oh, Hornets. Yeah, LaMelo
Hornets
Ball.
and then the Thunder again.
Bro, this could be it. They could get their third win of the season against
Nah,
OKC.
bro. Thunder are gonna take it, man. Got
Yeah,
this.
I mean, I hope they do because like I think yeah, it would be really funny to see from a fans point of view, everyone. I don't wish this upon players, but if the Rockets actually finish with like 10 wins, 9 wins, they would go that would be the worst team of all time because the Bobcats who did it, there was a lockdown season, so they were like 9-50 something. So but yeah, I mean, hey man, do you think anyone should get fired from the Rockets? GM coaching staff?
I don't think there's a point really. Like just let them do what they got to do. Let them just like lose pretty much. Like who are you gonna bring in that's gonna change anything at the Rockets?
Yeah.
It's
Interestingly
terrible.
enough, they do have the Thunder on a back-to-back. They play them on the 29th and then the first. So
Mm.
who knows, man? That could be some wins right there.
Oh man.
But they have a
But
tough schedule, coming up. They got after that, they got the Magic, the Pelicans. And I say tough because those teams are just better. Then they got the Nets and then the Bucks and then the Grizzlies and then the Hawks. So they might be on a run of misery to say the least.
yeah, we'll see, bro. But I'm gonna pick the Thunder and I'm gonna pick the Hornets
Yeah.
against them.
I think I got to mark your calendars though, everyone. December 28th, it is the Houston Rockets taking on the LA Lakers. So
Oh, Holy,
That could
again.
be either really good or really bad for this channel.
Nah, like the Lakers beat them the last two times they played. So I'm gonna go ahead and say they're gonna beat them again. But we have seen the Lakers, like lose to OKC,
Yeah. So
with a 26-point lead. So who
yeah,
knows?
you never know. But enough about Houston now. I want to take a more positive look, talk about Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves, who have been
Oof.
on this channel before. But and a 33-point performance in a victory over the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler. Now, what are your thoughts on that performance from Ant?
The big talking point, especially, is that dunk where he
Yeah.
basically like put his nuts in that guy's
Yeah.
face. So yeah, huge game, huge win, like over Miami. That's crazy. Maybe we'll see a resurgence out of this Minnesota team. It's kind of crazy because we literally went on for what, like 10, 15 minutes about how like the T-Wolves just suck. And now they're actually pulling out wins, beating teams like Miami, who I
Yeah.
expect to be a contender for the championship. So maybe this is more to come. Anthony Edwards is a solid player. Like I have thought that he's just a little inconsistent, but when he is playing at his best, he looks like an all-star already. He looks very good. So
I mean, yeah, maybe this could be. I'm not gonna call it no championship push or even a playoff push because at the end of the day, it's still the Timberwolves. But this could be a positive season. If it ends off with them finishing as a 10th seed, that would be a victory in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, and looked really good. 33 points against Miami is not an easy thing to do. I know we got into it with Jimmy Butler. That's pretty interesting because Jimmy Butler is kind of Jimmy Butler, so I'm kind of surprised that
he's
he
just kind
wanted to
of
take him
Jimmy
on.
Butler, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised he wanted to even take him on. Jimmy Butler is one of the better trash talkers, I would say, in the league. He's very in your face. So yeah, I mean, shout out to Ant for leading them to the victory over the Heat. And yeah, I mean, maybe the Heat is this cause for concern, or do we think it's just a slip up like the Bulls?
I'm gonna go with just a slip up. They're still, I'm pretty sure, second in the East. So I'm gonna just say a slip up. But they have had a couple of those this season.
Yeah.
Where they mess up a game. So I'm not completely sold on the Heat, but I do think they have some pieces to figure out, like Kyle Lowry, and so I think they'll figure it out, and they're still going to be like a top team in the East, in my opinion, at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, in their last 10 games, they are 5-5. So they sit at 12-7 now. They were 7-2 to start off the year. So I mean, I don't know if that's just reactionary, but I think we've seen them in the playoffs, maybe it was a bit of an overachievement that one year. But at the end of the day, I think that they've gotten better by adding Kyle Lowry. So I think they just got to finish, top four, top three. I think they could do that realistically. I think
Yeah,
that would set themselves up for a good playoff run. Think Kyle Lowry is going to want redemption because the last time he was in the playoffs was, I feel like that's when we lost to Boston. So maybe he's going to want to run it back, try and get a championship out of that. So yeah, I mean, I think it is, just a slip up. But at the end of the day, I really don't want to see this team fizzle out because I do really like Kyle Lowry and I do really like Jimmy Butler. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this team in the long run.
yeah, I'm definitely rooting for the Heat. They're definitely one of my like more liked teams in the NBA. They got a lot of players that I like, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is fine. Like, not a huge deal. They'll bounce back. They'll be fine. I'm pretty sure. So, and to be fair, we know with Jimmy Butler, sometimes you're gonna have a game where he might not be scoring a lot, and you got to deal with that, and then you got to deal with Kyle Lowry. Kind of, he's getting up there, so he's not going to be like his full 100% every game. You can't expect that. Tyler Hero, he's up and down, so it's just it's a regular season. I think by playoff time they'll be back to their full form and winning games.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think, Coach Spoelstra, he's one of the best coaches in
Yeah,
the league. And I think It's crazy to think about that. He led them to the finals. I think that's a big reflection on him. Sadly, they didn't win for his case. But yeah, I think by the time the playoffs comes, they could generally be the biggest threat to either the Bucks or the Nets, depending on who finishes with that first seed in the end of it. So yeah, I'm really rooting. I'm rooting for Kyle Lowry more than anyone, if I'm being honest, because I love Kyle Lowry, and I would, if the Raptors or the Lakers don't win, I would not mind Miami winning for Kyle Lowry once again. So I really hope they do good.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to just quickly move on to another team in the East that started off really good, the Wizards lost by 25 to the New Orleans Pelicans. What
Oh
are your
man.
thoughts, man?
Like me and you, we've known from the start. We know what Kyle Kuzma is all about. We know what KCP is all about. We know what Montrezl Harrell is all about. You know, this is the Washington Wizards that I thought we would see this season. You know, horrible performance. I think New Orleans, especially without Zion Williamson, they kind of fall into that category that Houston does, where it's like, I don't care what the excuse is, you should not be losing to them. So the fact that they lost, and not just lost, like they got destroyed, they lost by 25 points. That's embarrassing. And I don't even know what to say about that, except not surprised, because that team on paper, not that impressive, not that scary. I hate Kyle Kuzma with a passion. Probably
Facts.
a very nice guy, but the pain he caused me,
No, probably not.
the pain he caused me. I hate Montrezl Harrell so much because he's one of the biggest flops in Lakers history. And honestly, like KCP, cool guy. I actually have nothing bad to say about KCP. So I feel sorry that he was involved. But the fact that we got Russell Westbrook on the Lakers in exchange for Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell, and then I guess KCP, it makes me so happy that they lost that badly.
Yeah. Kyle Kuzma woke up hungry today.
Oh,
27 minutes, 7 points,
oh my
five
God,
rebounds, and 4 assists.
bro. He had
Triple
a triple
single.
single. He's- he was doing it all. Bro, some people get triple doubles, bro. Kyle Kuzma, triple singles, bro.
Holy. Whoa. And he had 4 turnovers.
Bro,
Quadruple
he was
single.
going for the quadruple double, and he realized, bro, if I do that, they're gonna drug test me. So he didn't do it, man.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can't just play that good.
yeah, someone who we got to give a quick shout out to, Neto. No, I'm kidding. But
I
Bradley
hate
Beal,
Neto.
yeah, in all seriousness, Bradley Beal, 23 points in that game. I feel so bad for Bradley Beal because he is so talented and he's so good at basketball, but he's stuck playing with Kyle Kuzma on the Wizards. He saw many great players come and go, like Paul Pierce, Gortat. I was gonna say John Wall, but no. And even more recently, Russell Westbrook. So I mean, I feel bad. I don't even know how off the top of my head how old Bradley Beal is, but I really hope he has time to leave. So what do you think Bradley Beal should do?
I think he should have requested a trade like 3 years ago, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I think request a trade, got out of there. Like some of this is on him. Like at what point do you just say like I don't want to be in this garbage anymore? So yeah, like I definitely feel bad for Bradley Beal to a certain extent, but he's gotta want to get out and win himself.
Yeah. I
But
mean, he's only 28, so he's fairly young.
yeah,
So like when's it gonna end? Like sounds like Arsenal fan TV. Like when is it gonna end, Bradley? Like when are you gonna get out of this club? Like, I know I would take him
soon.
on the Raptors. I know a lot of teams in the NBA would take him
Oh yeah,
on their
I'm
team.
pretty sure almost any team in the NBA would take a Bradley Beal. I
Yeah.
don't even think there's any team that would say, "Nah, I don't want that guy."
Yeah, except well, maybe the Sacramento Kings. They would probably see that and be like, yo, this is who we need, and they would just straight decline and draft a center. So so yeah, just hold your horses there. But in all seriousness, yeah, I think whether or not the Wizards make the playoffs or go 0 and whatever, 10 off the season, I hope this is the last season we see Bradley Beal play in Washington, because I don't want him to be a Damian Lillard V2 where it's like he's
Mhm.
just gonna be that guy that remained on the team and won nothing but had 30 points a game. It's like Bradley Beal could actually, go down in NBA history. I feel like, that might be a bit of a stretch, but he could be part of a championship team and he could lead them
Oh
to
yeah, for
it.
sure.
So I don't want to close the door on him yet. So just with that being said, I really hope that someone comes in and says, look, we need Bradley Beal, let him go. And I hope they just trade him because it's actually just very disappointing to watch.
I'd love to see him on Philly. That would be insane.
Yeah.
Do a Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal trade, and then you got. I feel bad for Washington, kind of, but then you got Ben Simmons and Kuzma on the same team.
Oh my
Wow,
god,
that's shocking.
it would be the ultimate banter squad at that point. You'd
Yeah,
have
I mean,
you'd have
I would
two
love that.
Kardashians, bro. You'd have Ben Kardashian and Kyle Kardashian, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be crazy, but I don't want to do that to, some of the players I like on that team. Although there really isn't a lot. Like I'm looking at the squad here. I like Daniel Gafford for last season. I like Bradley Beal.
Is that
I like
Thomas Bryan still on the team right now?
yeah, but he's always injured. Like I can't even say I like him anymore. I like him when he's healthy, but like he's never healthy.
He's just
So
never helping.
yeah, and yeah, KCP is all right. I guess that's probably where it ends. Like the rest of
Yeah.
the rest of that entire franchise, I hate. And again, I have a Washington jersey.
It's like,
Um,
what are you gonna say next? That you hate OKC with the
no,
bird?
no, that's the one team I like. But
Yeah.
yeah, that team is just kind of a joke. I definitely need to see Bradley Beal play somewhere else. Like you said, I don't want to see him be like Damian Lillard. But it's even worse than Damian Lillard because at least Portland sometimes, during the playoffs, they've been to a conference finals at least.
Yeah.
Like Washington just suck. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like they're just terrible and it's just him. So gotta see him on at least a good team, start contending or something.
Yeah. As much as I love like Siakam, I honestly wouldn't mind a Siakam for Bradley Beal trade.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Bro, Bradley Beal and Scotty Barnes, bro. Oh my God.
Holy.
Yeah, be amazing. But yeah, like I said, I hope no matter what happens, it's the end. Like I'm sick and tired of Bradley Beal being wasted. He's just too good at this point. Like he's generally just way too good for that franchise. And if John Wall thinks he could do that, then Bradley Beal could legit do it too, because Bradley Beal is so much better than John Wall.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
But move on to the Warriors. Keep the hot streak going. They're
Oh,
insane, man.
like Golden State Warriors, man. Like I don't know what to say. I feel like I run out of things to say about Steph Curry these days and about the Warriors as a whole. And Clay even commented on this. Sorry, bro. They don't have Clay and they don't have James Wiseman. It's crazy to think about. Like crazy to think about, bro. They're what 16-2, 16-3,
Yeah.
something like that. And they don't have Clay Thompson, who is a top 3 wing shooter of all time. So, so I don't know what to say. I think the Warriors at this point definitely been playing the best ball in the league. And I think the showdown win against Brooklyn a few weeks ago now, that was a massive W. It just doesn't seem like you could stop them. Granted, I know Embiid is hurt, but like they beat the Sixers too. So it's like who's stopping the Warriors? And I
Yeah, the
think
Curry matchup.
yeah. So once oh yeah, the Curry match. Yeah. Once Clay gets back, like they're 16-2. That's insane to me. I never thought this in a million years. I thought they'd be a nice, mid-table, mid-playoff table, sorry, seeded team. 16-2, very impressed, with them. And I think once Clay comes back, this could be a really scary team.
Yeah, it's already a really scary team. It doesn't seem like they're ever going to slow down. I feel
Yeah.
like every week we're talking about, holy crap, like how good are the Warriors? Just make it a segment, honestly, on the just a staple on the Baud Fawk episodes. But yeah, they're crazy. You can't really stop them. Steph Curry, as we said, he's just so inspirational. And Jordan Poole, always looking great. And their defense is like I think ranked like top 3 in the NBA. So,
Yeah, I think they
that's
do too.
pretty underrated.
Yeah, and it's like, hats off to Steve Kerr. I've been really critical of Steve Kerr in the past because I've always thought that, when you inherit such a great team that he did, it might be easy to coach. But I think if the Warriors finish as the first seed, and I know this might be a Skip Bayless type of take, but I think if the Warriors finish with the first seed, I think that would be Steve Kerr's greatest achievement as a head coach with this team, especially because,
Really?
everyone used that excuse. Oh, it was Mark Jackson's team that won it the first year. Then they got Durant for the other 2 years. So like never really gave him credit. But this finishing as the first seed with this specific team, I don't even care if they win or not. I think that would be his best managerial, or I should say coaching achievement, I think, in his career.
Yeah, I mean, 73-9 is kind of insane. I know they didn't win the rings, so uh can't be that great, but 73-9, like to beat the 72-10 Bulls, like that's pretty insane. I think that I'd still probably have that as his best achievement. And like you said, like this is still like a huge achievement if they get first, if they get the best record in the NBA this season, then hats off for sure. That's probably his second best in my opinion. But the 73-9 season was incredible. Like they literally just like almost just could not lose. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Honestly, sometimes, and it's just because they didn't win. I honestly, I sometimes forget that they even went 73-9. So that
Yeah.
is a great point. I would say though, he would probably feel the most good about himself, I think, if this team did it, because I would not give full credit. Obviously, players play, coaches coach, but I would give more credit to that than I ever did Steve Kerr, if anything. And just on that note of them passing the Bulls, like Steve Kerr really went 72-10 as a player and then 73-9 as a head coach, has
Yeah.
like 10 total rings or something ridiculous like that, or
This guy's a
almost.
winner.
He's just that guy, honestly.
Yeah.
I think like Steve Kerr is, wow, man. He's just so, he's also very inspirational, just like,
Yeah.
so yeah, hats off to Steve Kerr, man.
Yeah. He's crazy. He's just a serial winner. No matter how he's doing it,
Yeah.
he's always gonna pull out the dubs. So I still think. I mean, I always thought he was a good coach. I never really thought he was like overrated. Well, maybe at the peak of the Warriors, he's a little overrated, but I always thought he was a solid coach. Yeah, he got a really good team, but you still got to make it work. He could have came in and failed. You never know. So, um, yeah, I think he's a solid coach, and he's clearly showing that to us. So, you think maybe he could get Coach of the Year?
Yeah, you know what? I could definitely see him get coach of the year. In the past, we've seen maybe teams with a lesser record, but have their coach still win coach of the year because they just did a great job at that specific team. But I do strongly believe if this team goes first in the whole NBA, even the West, but especially the whole NBA, I don't think there'd be anything that anyone could do to not give it to him. And even like Steve Nash, let's say if the Nets finish with a better record, but the Warriors are still first in the West, nah, like give it to Steve Kerr. Like I think it would be an incredible achievement. I feel like on paper, despite the Warriors beating the Nets, I feel like the Nets might be a bit more talented on paper. So, and plus you got Kevin Durant and James Harden. But yeah, I know for sure. I think Steve Kerr for me, he's definitely so far after what is that, 19 games for the Warriors, he's been coach of the year.
So we were talking about the managers. We're talking about sorry, coach of the season, not manager, and it just got me thinking quickly. Just we don't have it in our notes or anything, but Luke Walton was hired as the Sacramento coach. Um, so yeah, because you said coach of the season, and I don't know why Luke Walton literally just popped in my head because he's definitely not going to win that award
Yeah.
probably ever. But
Yeah, it was
yeah,
funny. Speaking about Coach Walton and the Warriors, remember when he was like the assistant coach for the
yeah,
Warriors? And I
yeah,
remember when Steve Kerr had back surgery, actually took over.
yeah, and they
Yeah,
they,
I
they were
do.
decent too.
Yeah, bro. Damn, Luke Walton. I'm not laughing that he got fired, everyone. I'm laughing just at the Sacramento Kings. Like, that might be like maybe second to the Detroit Lions. That might be like the worst American sports franchise I think I've ever witnessed in my life.
Yeah, agreed. They're
Like,
so bad.
I just run out of things to say about them. And yeah, Luke Walton getting fired, we forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah, no, it's just so comical to me because I feel like he was in a bit of a driver's seat just a few weeks ago. I feel like I saw a quote that he said where he felt like safe, and now he's just gone. He just
Yeah, that has to be like the worst run franchise, man. Like it's crazy. You got DeMarcus Cousins. At the time probably best center in the league, or at least number two. Let's draft a center. So, uh, gotta love the Sacramento Kings.
yeah,
Just
always been.
as a non Kings fan, I love that franchise because they're just such a joke,
Yeah,
and they're
ladies and
always gonna
gentlemen,
be
we
insane.
might have to do one full episode just on the Sacramento Kings, go on about them for an hour and a half, and just talk about them because they're truly indescribable to say the least.
Yeah, they're crazy bad. And I expected them to do a little bit better this season, but they're still just bad. And now, now they're looking for a head coach. Not sure who they're going to get to replace him. I haven't seen any like rumors or anything. I don't know if you have.
I haven't seen any rumors, but they could get Billy Donovan. Isn't he not coach anymore for OKC?
No, I think he's on the Bulls.
Oh, he's on the Bulls though.
Yeah, because he went to the Bulls right after OKC. I think
Oh
in
yes, yes, you're
2018
right.
or
You're right.
2019.
Yeah. What about Scott Brooks?
Oh yeah, because I think he's gone from the Wizards. I don't know if anyone picked him up.
Yeah, I think no, sorry. I always get them confused. It was Scott Brooks who I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that would be the most Sacramento thing.
yeah. I don't think that's a great upgrade. I don't really know if there's anyone like great available.
Is it even an upgrade?
I think Scott Brooks is better than Luke Walton, but barely. Like they're both. Just because you're better than Luke Walton does not make you good. So, because I'm pretty sure I'm better than Luke Walton, I'm pretty sure I could do that job better than him. But
Oh.
uh, yeah, I mean, it would be a Sacramento thing to just get Scott Brooks or someone even worse.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey man, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Woj bomb saying Scott Brooks is headed to the Sacramento Kings. But hey, that'll be interesting. But I want to quickly segue to a team who's actually ran properly and is a good franchise, the Phoenix Suns. Starting off 1-3, they're now 15-3, a 14
Yeah,
game winning streak. What do we think about the Phoenix Suns, man?
it's it's crazy to see. That's definitely showing that it wasn't a fluke that they made it to the finals last year. Like they are a good team for sure. You got Devin Booker, who's an elite scorer, Chris Paul, who's an elite playmaker, and DeAndre Ayton hasn't been his best. I don't think. I think he could be better, but him as a third option it has to be one of the best third options in the league for sure. So yeah, they got a very solid squad, very good role players, good coach. I think very good franchise, and the only reason they're not the first place in the West is because Steph Curry and the Warriors are just insane. But 14-game win streak is wow.
Yeah, and gonna go off what you mentioned here. The fact that there's like a narrative of, oh, the Warriors are doing this without Clay, that's really underrated the Sun season for me. Because in what world are we not talking about a team who's on a 14-game win streak and who are 15-3? Like that, like the Warriors are 16-2. So the hype, I feel like should be there, but I feel like as a whole, it's not been. But that's just because the Warriors have been that team. So is there any possibility that the Suns end up back in the finals, or is this just form, would you say?
I don't think they're going to end up back in the finals because I don't know, man. Like this might seem just crazy at this point, but I still do think the Lakers will pick it back up, and I do think that at the end of the day, the Warriors, I'm still going to pick them, even without Clay at this point. Like I might still pick the Warriors, and then with Clay coming back, like I mean, you can't really blame me for picking the Warriors, but yeah, like they're definitely up there. I'm not trying to like discredit them, but I'm gonna take the Warriors over them. I'm gonna take the Lakers over them, and I feel like I gotta say Denver as well. I know they've also started off kind of mediocre, but I feel like I think Denver as a team are better, and they just gotta get healthy and get playing on her best form. But I'd probably pick those three
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
Suns.
that's a valid shout. I think each week, like the Warriors segment, we should have a segment called "We think the Lakers will bounce back" because that is a recurring theme. It's always
Yeah,
that, man. They will bounce back though. But
and then they go and lose to like a crappy team.
yeah, but I mean, in all seriousness, I like the Phoenix Suns. We saw them last year. Yes, there was a lot of asterisks, everyone call it, in their finals run. However, they still got there, and 15-3. Numbers don't lie. But one narrative that I have to paint: if the Phoenix Suns somehow got back to the finals and I don't know, maybe messed around and actually won the championship this time, what does that do for Mr. Chris Paul? Would you say?
I think he passes Russell Westbrook.
So
That's
that would be
probably
yeah, so that
my
would be like the kicker.
Yeah, like I don't think it does anything crazy for him. I don't think he passes anyone else in the point guard ranking. I don't think he goes that much higher in the all-time ranking. I know like that's the big thing he's missing, but yeah, it doesn't get him over Steph Curry, obviously, or Magic or Oscar. Even with the ring, I don't have him over Steve Nash.
Yeah.
So I'd probably just say he beats out Russell Westbrook and takes maybe the fifth spot on like the all-time point guards, in my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree with me. Um, yeah, definitely a lot of people disagree with me. Not a lot of Russ fans out there, but um, yeah, I don't think it does a lot for him because I still think he's widely regarded as a top five or top 10 point guard of all time, and regarded as like a top 40 player of all time at worst. So like what more is a ring gonna do for him unless he like goes crazy and like gets finals MVP and drops like 30, 10 and 10, then maybe he'll go into like the top 30 of all time. But I don't think there's anything he can do to pass Oscar, Steph, or Magic. Maybe he'll pass Steve Nash, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point guard narrative this year has a lot of ramifications. I'm gonna just talk about some right now. We got Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Curry, even Kyle Lowry, and you could go as far as saying Kyrie Irving. Don't know what he's saying. Those are all five very elite point guards. Probably, like we said last video, the best point guards of our generation. Those five, they all have a serious chance of winning championships this year, bro. And I think for literally everyone, and I would say some more than others, but like, a championship really helps everyone's like individual legacy and career when you look back on it. So I
Mm-hmm.
think for all those point guards, I would say more like Russ and Chris Paul than Steph Curry and Lowry. But like point guards are out for it this year, man. And I think like as a fan, unless Kyrie comes back, because how I feel about Kyrie, I would just concede. But I hope one of those teams really wins the finals if it's not like the Raptors. Because yeah, I would love to see, I know you might not, but I'd love to see Chris Paul win a ring, but I'd also love to see Westbrook win a ring. I'd love to see Lowry get number two, love to see Curry get number four, and maybe finals MVP. So I think when it comes to point guards, those elite point guards in particular, I think they have all to play for. And ladies and gentlemen, notice I did not say Damian Lillard because no, he's not that guy. He's just not on the level. So I think, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how that unfolds towards the end of the season, towards the playoffs.
Hot take, Damian Lillard isn't that guy. That's crazy.
I,
But
I I like him, but like he's just not NBA 75 material. Those five point guards, all better. No cap.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think Kyrie is top 75 either, though. But he does have a ring, so yeah, I do think a ring. I don't think a ring does much for Kyrie because it doesn't look like he's going to be the one playing. So
Yeah, exactly. I was the guy.
doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
It'll be
So,
interesting. Seems when he
but
comes back for the playoffs and drops like 30, 10, and 10, like you mentioned, maybe on the vaccine, he just gets it and becomes a god.
maybe I just every time we've seen Kyrie without LeBron, it just hasn't gone to where people thought it would. I mean, sorry. So I don't know, but yeah, like you said, the point guards they're all in some really good positions. Watch like a team with like no real great point guard go and win a championship now, just because we
Oh,
said that.
yeah.
But
With
um,
our luck, yeah, that'll probably happen.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, like don't get me wrong, like I don't dislike Chris Paul. I really like Russell Westbrook, and if Chris Paul did get a ring, it would just project him over Russell Westbrook. So not that I really have anything against Chris Paul, but um, if the ring is going to go to anyone, I'd rather it be Russ. And if it can't go to Russ, I don't want it to go to Chris Paul.
Hey
So
man, maybe Kyle Lowry could get it, and then we could paint the narrative that Kyle Lowry's better than Chris Paul. I'd be for that.
I'm so down for that. I'm down to have the conversation right now. To be honest, even without the ring, um, like he has a ring already, so best
Yeah, six-time All-Star as well. That does speak for itself.
best Raptor of all time. So I mean, what is Chris Paul the best of all time? Well, maybe the Bobcats.
I mean, to be fair, without Chris Paul, the Bobcats did go 9-59, I think it was.
Yeah,
So
Crazy that he was almost on the Lakers, eh?
It's not fair, man. Kobe should have won one more. Damn, taking that Kobe's actually a Chris Paul trade away from just having 6 rings. Who knows, man?
Yeah, I mean, and then watch a Chris Paul would come out years later and say that he had like a bad back and he was the real star of the game.
Like, yeah, and I don't remember game 6, but like I went 8 for 24. But I did play with a bad back, you know. I know Kobe did have 50 points, but who's the real winner here, man?
Yeah, I think I saw something like Shaq said he would like murder Scottie Pippen if he said he was better than Michael Jordan or something, or he would like fight him or something. Hilarious, man. Um, but yeah, I think that's everything, man. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I still have to do 2 quick shout outs here. Just want to give one more shout out again to Scotty Barnes. You know, for me, he's just gonna go down as the greatest to ever do it. I'm gonna say this every time we talk about basketball because it's gonna happen. Okay. So when we look back on this in like 15 years, when the Raptors have 7 rings and Barnes is doing this, like then we'll understand.
And we're on ESPN.
Exactly. And just one more quick shout out to all of the viewers at home. I just want to let everyone know this that Austin Matthews is better than Connor McDavid. That's all I have to say.
All right, well, Bauds, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Share the video if you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.